3, 2. Tonight on Newswatch, more than a year after a devastating tornado, a local school district announces big progress as they rebuild. We'll provide an update on the school's conditions coming up.
Plus, a central Illinois city says it's making progress on adding more housing. The policies, they say, are helping provide more homes. Emily?
We are in for a hot work week next week, but what can we expect coming this weekend before temperatures soar up into the 90s? I'll have the answer coming up. This is Newswatch, and your Friday evening's edition starts now.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection, commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
The Fellowship Center, apartment living for low-income seniors and the disabled, offering an independent living center, monthly social activities, and transportation. The Fellowship Center, 301 Lafayette Avenue East, Mattoon.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight on Newswatch. I'm Matthew Posner.
And I'm Austin Perez. Officials say workers are making great progress to repair damage at the Neoga Senior and Junior High School after a tornado in March of last year. In just a week, construction crews added 19 new HVAC units to the high school wing and completed significant roof work over the junior high wing, ag classroom, and art room. The school district shared progress of the repairs on social media. And since the tornado, classes have been held in a temporary unit and in the town's community center. The district says there's still a great deal of work ahead and appreciates patience as construction continues. Effingham City officials say their plans for increased housing are paying off. In the first half of this year, they say the building's official office received 102 applications for building permits, including 31 for new dwelling units. That's compared to 184 building permits received during all of last year. Officials say their expanded enterprise zone and tax increment financing programs have led to the growth of new housing. Those programs include new housing incentives Newswatch told you about earlier this year.
Illinois health officials are making a change in their efforts to prevent overdoses. The Champaign-Urbana Public Health District says the state's overdose prevention program is switching from the drug Narcan to the generic form Patagus. They say the generic version has the same dose of the drug naloxone, but at a lower cost. That means funding for the drug can stretch further. The district says they're now providing the generic version.
Temperatures warmed up a little bit here in East Central Illinois, but not only here, but also nationally. We're seeing temperatures around 84 degrees over in St. Louis, but at least we're not down in Phoenix with a high temperatures around 109 degrees. Here in Charleston, we saw high temperatures only in the 80s today. High temperature of 84 degrees here in Charleston. The highest we saw was 86 degrees down in Effingham and over in Robinson. But as we move overnight tonight, we're going to see those temperatures drop down. A low temperature in the low 60s with a low of 62 degrees. They're mostly clear skies with a slight breeze out of the southeast. But as we move into tomorrow, temperatures will warm back up into the 80s, back up to a high of 83 degrees. That's a first look at your Skywatch forecast. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Emily. In other news, Illinois is set to receive hundreds of millions of dollars as part of a multi-million-dollar settlement with Meta. The parent company of Facebook and Instagram settled with 30 states this week after a 3-year legal battle. At issue, whether the company allowed addictive features like infinite scroll, despite research showing the harms of social media use on teenagers' brains. The state suite also alleged the company misled the public about safety on its platforms. Under the $17.1 billion settlement, Illinois is set to receive $758 million over 10 years to be used for youth mental health.
After decades of putting profits before the health and wellness of children, we are compelling Meta to put our children's safety and mental health at the forefront. And we are not stopping with this settlement. It is imperative that all social media apps protect our children, and we will continue working toward that end.
Capital News Illinois reports, under the settlement, the company agreed to strengthen its existing age verification systems for users. Meta will also add stronger safeguards to keep teens from accessing content about eating disorders, suicide, and other self-harm.
If you missed the Illinois State Fair a couple weeks ago, you have another chance to get in on the fun. The DuQuoin State Fair in Southern Illinois kicks off today. State officials say the fair features plenty of free options, including monster truck photo ops, a dog show featuring rescue dogs, and the Illinois Product Expo next weekend. The DuQuoin State Fair grandstand also includes several paid events, such as harness racing and performances from acts like Wiz Khalifa. The fair runs through September 7th, and admission is free. And if you head to the fair this weekend, state leaders want to know what you think of the rest areas along the way. IDOT says they've launched a new system called Opinionator that lets visitors at rest stops give instant feedback to management. The department has posted signs inside and outside rest areas, buildings with QR codes and instructions for the systems. Visitors can complete a survey about factors like cleanliness, restroom maintenance, vending machines, and safety. Well, it looks like it's going to be a hot weekend at the fair.
Yeah, that's right, Austin. The August heat is set to return in full force. But just how hot will it get, Emily?
It's going to be hot, and it does not look like temperatures will be dropping out of the 90s at all next work week. I'll have more on the hot week ahead coming up.
Tired of the same old playlist? Let Hitmix 88.9 WEIU be your source for your favorite throwbacks and today's biggest hits. No skips needed. From deep dives on local topics, a lively morning show, and EIU Panther sports, we've got your back 24/7. And we're not just hitting play, we're building futures. Because behind every mic is a student making moves. It's your music, your station, Hitmix 88.9 WEIU.
Temperatures warmed up just a little bit today with high temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, a high temperature of 84 degrees here in Charleston. The highest we saw across the viewing area at 86 down in Effingham and over in Robinson. But as we move overnight tonight, we're going to see those temperatures drop down into the low 60s, a low of 62 degrees overnight tonight under mostly clear skies, although we will see clouds beginning to build as we move into the morning hours. We're going to be seeing a breeze out of the southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour, but we're going to see mostly clear skies for the majority of our night overnight tonight. Eventually around tomorrow morning, we'll see a few clouds beginning to make their way into the viewing area, but those clouds are not going to stay around for long because we're going to be seeing partly cloudy skies throughout the daytime tomorrow as we start our weekend. We're going to be seeing partly cloudy skies in the morning, a few clouds building in the evening and early afternoon hours, but for your daytime tomorrow to start off your weekend, you're going to be seeing a high temperature of 83 degrees, so similar to what we saw today, but after Saturday, we're going to see temperatures really start to warm up. But before we get to that, we're going to be seeing partly cloudy skies throughout the daytime tomorrow, clouds coming and going throughout your daytime for your Saturday. But for Sunday, temperatures will officially reach the 90s, and they're not going to drop out of the 90s anytime soon. We're going to see a high temperature of 90 degrees on Sunday under mostly clear skies. Those clouds once again coming and going as we move into next work week. Winds blowing out of the south on Sunday and on Saturday. It's going to promote this warm up that we're going to be seeing as we move into the work week. Now, looking at the work week, we're going to be seeing temperatures skyrocket up into the upper 90s as we start our week on Monday. A high temperature of 96 degrees on Monday under partly cloudy skies, but then those clouds are going to start to thin out on Tuesday, but temperatures are only going to continue to warm up. A high temperature of 98 degrees on Tuesday, this time under mostly clear skies, and those clouds will continue to clear as we make it to around midweek. Clear skies for Wednesday, but once again in the upper 90s around midweek on Wednesday with a high temperature of 97 degrees. Now these temperatures are warming up as we move into next work week. You can see here we're well above average, even off the charts a little bit because we are up into the 90s. Temperatures are really going to start to warm up as we move into that next work week and continue into the end of the week. Now that average for this time of year is typically in the upper 70s and lower 80s, and for the next 6 to 10 days we're projected to be above that average, well above that average actually, and we're going to see that reflected in our 7-day. The only day in the 80s will be that that Saturday. A high temperature of 83 degrees on Saturday, dipping down into the 60s as we move overnight. But then we're going to reach the 90s on Sunday and stay in the 90s. High temperatures in the upper 90s as we make it through next work week. A high temperature of 96 degrees on Monday. For the start of September, 98 degrees for your high. And we're not going to cool down much after that. A 1 degree cool down on Wednesday around midweek with a high temperature of 97. Staying in the upper 90s for your Thursday with a high of 98. And eventually we're going to see temperatures cool down just a little bit to a high of 96 degrees on your Friday, but it's going to be a hot work week ahead.
Well, I'm not going to spend too much time. I basically live in this station, and even then, I'm running outside when it's dark and cool out, but we'll see.
I can't wait to be going to class in the upper 90s on a 12-minute walk. I'm so excited.
He doesn't go to class.
Well, thanks, Emily. Still to come, authorities confirm a serious foodborne illness in 3 more states.
Plus, research sites show new light on online betting among young people. The big bucks at play coming up. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
Watch a tense and dizzying rescue unfold high up on a Georgia mountain after a climber became stranded, desperately clinging to a cliff face. It happened on Mount Yonah, where White County public safety officials say the man called 911 from a mountain ledge, saying he'd become stuck during a free climb attempt. Rescuers responded by launching a drone to locate the climber and then setting up a rappelling rig to make their way down to safely collect him. The county shared pics of the operation and the name of the rappelling rescuer, which just so happens to be Will Roper. Lucky for this climber, where there's a will, there's a way back down to level ground. A stranded kitten is safe and sound after being rescued, not high up on a mountain, but low down in the ground. California's Alameda Police Department responded to a report of a kitten trapped roughly 10 feet down a rusted pipe in a field. It took some doing, but an animal control officer was able to get the kitty out, and it was later cleaned up and treated for minor injuries to its paws. The kitten was appropriately named Rusty and ended up being rescued again, adopted and taken home by the very dispatcher who answered the distress call. Finally, from a Rusty rescued kitty to the TSA's top dog. After more than a week of online voting, the verdict is in. Bolt has been voted the Transportation Security Administration's cutest canine. Working at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, this boisterous, bug-eyed bomb sniffer looks like he's seen a few things on the job. Seriously, I can't be the only one who's seeing Scooby-Doo here, right? Scooby-Doo's a Great Dane, you idiot! All right, calm down. The annual contest started with a field of 85 nominated dogs, whittled down to 4 finalists, but in the end, it was Bolt's wide-eyed, chin-up confidence that won the day. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
In global news, aid has begun reaching survivors of deadly flash floods in Nepal and China. Rescue workers are searching for nearly 2,000 missing people, and military barracks has been set up as relief centers for the injured. UNICEF says at least 17,000 children urgently need humanitarian help. It's still raining in flooded areas, and authorities warn a newly formed overflowing lake could lead to more flooding and could complicate rescue efforts. Closer to home, health officials have confirmed cyclospora cases in 3 more states. Federal officials say Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas have now been added to the list of states, with cases bringing the total number of affected states to 20. The FDA has linked the outbreak to recalled iceberg lettuce imported from Mexico by Taylor Farms. More than 11,000 people have been sickened, and 2 people in Michigan with underlying health condition have died. Cyclosporiasis is a type of food poisoning caused by a tiny parasite and can cause weeks of diarrhea if left untreated. And new analysis shows young adults who aren't allowed in most casinos are trading billions of dollars online through the site Kalshi. While most state-regulated casinos and sportsbooks require participants be 21 or older, the minimum age for the Kalshi prediction market is 18. A CNN analysis shows people between the ages have spent more than $5 billion on the platform just this year, mostly on sports betting. A Kalshi spokesperson says 18 to 21-year-old users make up about 3% of the company's trading volume. But we'll switch to sports right now. Matthew Posner, give us a run for our money.
Thank you, Austin. It's been an incredible last 24 hours for EIU sports. We'll have more on historic performances from EIU football and volleyball right after this. Thanks for watching. Your WEIU Sports Watch report is coming up next. After nearly 9 months of no football, Eastern Illinois is back, and the Panthers kick off their season against former conference rival Murray State. EIU started out slow but picked up the pace in the second quarter, with Charles Kellum recording an unbelievable 88-yard strike in the second to tie it up heading into halftime. Kellum would end the day with 171 yards and 3 touchdowns, and former University of Wisconsin recruit Cole LaCrue threw a 20-yard score to Landers Green in the fourth quarter to put the game away. The Panthers pull off the upset and take down the Racers 28-14. Eastern head coach Chris Wilkerson was thrilled after the game and said this win meant more than usual.
Yeah, I'm excited for the guys. They've worked really hard in the offseason, and the biggest thing was tonight they didn't flinch. We played a ton of players. It was very complimentary football. We played offense, defense, and special teams. All contributed. Really excited just for Eastern Illinois University. Proud of them. Again, we've had a chance to certainly play against the old OVC rivals over a number of years, and this was the place that I got my first OVC win in 2022. And so this is a place that I think highly of, and I was happy for our guys to be able to celebrate. But just excited about the future, and go Panthers.
After a sensational season-opening win, the Panthers will now hit the road for a marquee showdown against the Big Ten's Minnesota Golden Gophers. Sports Watch will have full pregame coverage beginning next week. Eastern Illinois volleyball also kicks off their season, but they face a brutal opening test against the West Coast Conference's Santa Clara Broncos. The Panthers are fresh off winning an OVC title last season, and this season couldn't have started any better. Despite dropping the first 2 sets to the Broncos, the Panthers roar back and reverse sweep Santa Clara to pull off a major upset, winning their season opener in 5 sets. EIU gets a huge win to open their 2026 campaign and will play 2 games tomorrow against Wright State and Dayton as they continue their quest for a second consecutive NCAA tournament berth. Sports has always been a great way to bring people from all over together. We saw that just this summer with the FIFA World Cup. My co-anchor Austin Perez met with many players of the EIU men's soccer team, and they say the bonds they've shared are special.
One thing that's been true about soccer from the start, it's the world's game. EIU men's soccer head coach Rui Vaz knows that, bringing in 11 players from his home country of Brazil. That's enough to field a whole team of just Brazilians.
I know how the players are developed. I know the youth academy is there.
Add to that, 4 players from Japan will also be lacing up for Vaz.
They bring stability to the team. They bring discipline. They also bring grit. So I've worked with more than 50 by now. So I'm very fortunate to have this connection, and I'll keep doing that.
I don't know what else to tell you, man. I honestly don't.
Vaz says he's a tough coach, and the hours are long. Add to that, the feeling of being so far from family and feeling homesick.
Even if the players, they will not tell you, sometimes you know they are homesick, and you just have to have a heart-to-heart conversation with them, bring them into your office and ask them the right questions and help them.
Players like Miguel D'Amico have been through this phase of missing home. That's why he says the team bond they build is more important than any skill.
I have the same chemistry, the same friendship with a Japanese as I have with a Brazilian, because we are all in the same situation, the same boat. We try to welcome the newcomers from other countries in the best way, so then they can feel they are part of a family.
Coach Vaz says he knows he can't be everywhere at once for the team. That's why he says it's important that he delegates team captains to handle things on and off the field.
There are things that I don't want to touch. The locker room is a sacred place for the players, and I think the captains that we have this year, they have been amazing, and they do help the teammates.
That being said, the team will be challenged many times as they try to write history for EIU soccer. In Charleston, I'm Austin Perez with WEIU Newswatch.
The Panthers dropped yesterday's home opener to Wright State 2-1. But Eastern will have plenty of time to prepare for OVC play, as it doesn't begin until September 26th, when they'll face in-state rivals Western Illinois. We're nearly halfway through the PGA Tour Championship, and the top of the leaderboard is more crowded than a Chicagoland DMV. Leading all the rest after 36 holes at 10 under par are former UNC standout Ryan Gerard and 2023 PGA Tour champion Victor Hovland. This is Gerard's first career PGA Tour Championship appearance, and he's making the most of it as he pursues by far the biggest title of his career to this point. Hovland is the favorite to win at the midway point and will look to become just the third player ever with multiple PGA Tour Championship titles alongside Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. Two players are just one back at 9 under, with major champion Colin Morikawa joined by 3-time 2026 winner Chris Gotterup. World number 1 Scotty Scheffler is just 2 back at -8, alongside world number 3 Cameron Young. Overnight leader Minwoo Lee had a Friday to forget as he shot a 3 over par 73 to drop to -5. Of the 29 players in the field, 19 of them are within 5 strokes of the lead. It's going to be a fun weekend at Eastlake. On the diamond, the Chicago Cubs look to increase their 2-game lead on the first wildcard spot in the National League as they host the division rival Reds. A 2-run homer by Michael Busch in the third gave the Cubs a 3-0 lead after 3 innings, but then the Reds went nuts. Sal Stewart, Jose Trevino, and Tyler Stevenson all go yard in a span of 2 innings. Cincinnati scores 9 unanswered runs. The Cubs scored 4 in the 8th to get within 2 heading into the 9th. However, Emilio Pagan needed just 7 pitches to shut down Chicago, and the Reds hold on 10-8. Despite the loss, the Cubbies still hold a 1.5-game lead over the Phillies for the top NL wildcard spot, and a 5-game lead over the Arizona Diamondbacks for the final wildcard spot. While the Cubs remain on the right side of the NL wildcard bubble, the St. Louis Cardinals are comfortably on the wrong side of it and need to start stacking wins quickly to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Cards eked out a 7-5 victory to avoid getting swept by the Orioles and sit 5.5 games behind the Padres ahead of a pivotal 3-game series that begins tonight against the Pittsburgh Pirates. And that wraps up tonight's Sports Watch Report. Austin, back to you.
Appreciate it, Matthew. And coming up, Emily Davis has one final check of your Skywatch forecast. But first, your dog may be trying to communicate with you without making a sound. We'll show you the new research into our furry friends. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
Fans mourning Dolly Parton are turning to her music. Spotify says Wednesday, the day after Parton died, streams of her hit Jolene spiked more than 1,200% in the U.S. And 9 to 5 streams rose more than 1,000%. In all, U.S. streams of Parton's music soared more than 2,000%.
Entire life trajectory.
What happens when you reach the pinnacle, then struggle to stay there? Threshold follows Olympic champion Jessie Diggins as she dealt with the pressure of competing at the highest level and with a severe eating disorder. The documentary is now available on digital platforms.
그 사람이 내 영화 주인공이 돼야 돼. 휴가를 같이 가면 좋겠다 싶어서요.
Here's your first look at Possible Love, about a laid-off worker and his wife, a documentary filmmaker and her husband, and what happens when they cross paths. South Korea's official entry for International Feature Film at the Oscars, Possible Love is in select theaters October 23rd and on Netflix November 6th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Finally tonight, your dog may be imitating you, but maybe not the way you think. A new study in the journal Royal Society Open Science suggests a connection between how dogs and their humans blink. Scientists at the University of Parma analyzed videos of 35 different dog breeds, while the dogs watched different videos of humans. When humans in the videos blinked, the dogs tended to blink more. But when the humans in the video didn't blink, the dogs blinked less. Scientists say that suggests dogs' behaviors can be affected by social context. Well, it's a nice evening to take those dogs for a walk, but it sounds like we could be seeing some hotter days ahead. Emily Davis with the final check of the Skywatch forecast.
Temperatures will be in the 80s tomorrow, but the upper 90s for the entirety of next week, so it's going to be a hot next work week.
Thank you, Emily, and thank you tonight for joining us. For more news and weather, be sure to log on to our website at weiu.net. There you'll find real-time forecasts and the news video of the day.
And if news is happening in your community, let us know by dropping us an email at news@weiu.net. Have a great weekend.
The
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
The Fellowship Center, apartment living for low-income seniors and the disabled, offering an independent living center, monthly social activities, and transportation. The Fellowship Center, 301 Lafayette Avenue East, Mattoon.